Hello guys, my name is John, I'm the Geeky Fanboy, and today I'm reviewing the pilot episode of a show I've been looking forward to for so long. Today I would like to talk about the pilot episode of Prodigal Son. Just as a heads up, I'm not planning on reviewing every single episode that comes out each week. I just thought I'd talk about the pilot episode just so you guys know if this show is worth watching, if the first episode seems interesting, if this is something you might want to watch, just in case, like me, you were looking forward to seeing this or thought this looked interesting and are now wondering, okay, is the first episode good? Should I give it a watch? So yeah, I might make a review of the whole season once it's finished, but for now I'd just like to talk about the pilot episode. Okay, so what is Prodigal Son about? Prodigal Son is about a man whose father is a serial killer. So we got this FBI detective named Malcolm, and he's a profiler, the typical policeman, FBI sort of guy who hunts dangerous murderers. And as this first episode goes on, he realizes, oh, this murderer we're trying to catch, he kills people similar to the way my dad did it. So he thinks there's a copycat, and of course it's like the Clarice Hannibal thing. He says, okay, I might have to go and see my dad. So I don't want to say more than that because it's like the basic premise. Guy from the FBI and his dad is a serial killer. The reason I paid attention to this initially was, and I'm gonna be honest here, is because Michael Sheen plays the dad. He plays the serial killer named the Surgeon, and I've become quite a fan of Michael Sheen's ever since Good Omens came out. So of course when the trailer for Prodigal Son came out, I was like, it's Michael Sheen and he's playing a serial killer. Yes. So my initial thoughts were when I went through the first couple of minutes of this pilot episode were, okay, this is probably gonna be your classic crime drama, because I do like crime dramas, but they all have this similar formula, especially if you have this more dark sort of crime drama going on. So I thought, okay, the Son was gonna be like super depressed and dark and grim and hard-boiled all the time, and of course he's gonna have mental health issues and all that, and then his dad, the serial killer, is like all Hannibal Lecter like and all that. And to a certain degree, that is true because some of that stuff you just can't avoid. Also, just because some of that stuff also works. But I must say, I was positively surprised by some of the differences. The most prominent difference to me was the main character, Malcolm, because he wasn't he isn't this grim, hard-boiled, dark detective. He isn't. Like, he does have psychological issues, as you might expect from his experiences. So he has anxiety, he has night terrors, probably also depression to a certain degree, I might expect. But he isn't grim and he isn't hard-boiled. Like, he is surprisingly light-hearted and likable. Let's put it like that. Because when you meet him, sure, he's a bit cocky and a bit narcissistic, as they also say in the opening of the show. But he's not a twat. Like, he's not annoying. At least that's what I thought. And he's not grim, and he's not the guy who like stands in the dark corner and smokes the whole time and is like, oh, what has this world become? He's not that person. Like, he makes jokes. He has a light-hearted personality. Like, he's friendly. He's open. He is sort of easygoing to a certain degree. And he was just completely different from what I expected his character was going to be. I like that they put in that he has mental health issues because, that's just expected if you know the premise of it. But I like what they're doing, like with his night terrors and everything, and how much they affect him, and how much he's trying to stay away from his father. Like, they do explain the relationship pretty well for like those first 45 minutes. Like, you also see him as a kid, and you see how their relationship sort of worked throughout the years, and you can very much understand why he now wants to stay away from his father. Like I said, it has this sort of Clarice, Hannibal, Silence of the Lambs shtick to it. Like, they realize, okay, we need help from the serial killer, and of course he's only willing to talk to his son, so Malcolm says, okay, I'm gonna go there. And what I like here when they talk, also when Malcolm talks about his father, is you not only have the distance in the way he sees himself, but he also talks differently about this. Well, like, he never says, this is my father. He never says, oh, hello, dad. He always addresses him by his normal name, like never in a personal way, where you can see that he has completely distanced himself from his dad. And when he gets to the point where he has to say in the episode, the surgeon is my father, you can see that this is a very heavy statement for him to make. Okay, moving on to the father, the surgeon, who is played by Michael Sheen. The father is a doctor, as you might expect from the serial killer name. The surgeon, he's killed, I think they say, like about 23 people or something. And as as you might know, if you've seen some of my other videos, I am very much interested in serial killer stories and true crime and all that, so I'm always very curious when an actor I like takes on a serial killer role. And you might say to a certain degree that it is a bit cliche. It's not quite Hannibal Lecter, but it is this surprisingly nice, pleasant, polite person you meet when you come into contact with the surgeon. And what I like about him is that you're not quite sure if he really is a good father or if he's simply trying to manipulate his son. Because when they talk, especially when he talks, and you see how much he values the conversations he has with his son, you see and think, oh, he's actually a really nice dad. Okay, sure, he is a killer and he killed all those people, all those women, but he cares very much about his family, especially about his son, the connection he has with him, and how sad he is when or if his son has to leave him. So I like that at least this first episode gives you the impression that, okay, he's a nice father, or he cares about Malcolm, but also it gives you this impression that you think, is he maybe only manipulating him to a certain degree because, for reasons that we don't know, or because he doesn't want to be alone? Because that's what I like. They emphasize very much that the father, the surgeon, he doesn't want to be alone. Like, this is what connects them. They haven't seen each other for years, and he was very much upset about that. And I love how in the flashbacks and also then in present times you see how dependent he is on this connection with his son, and how much he cares about him and how much he wants him to stay. And this is where I think this sort of grey area comes in, because you're not quite sure what the father wants from him all the time. The actors have great chemistry. Like, those were the best scenes in the episode when they get talk. Also, the flashbacks, I don't know if they're gonna have more flashbacks in future episodes. I would like to see some more, because that way you can see how the relationship developed a bit more, because you can see that they also talked when he was a kid and when he was in college, so there seemed to have been like a relationship while the father was already in prison. So I hope we do get to see more of that. Apart from that, like, the two actors in present time are very good. I love the dynamic, I love the chemistry, I love how much Michael Sheen like really just is this pleasant kind of guy. Like, to a certain degree you just think, okay, this is Michael Sheen. This is what you expect Michael Sheen to be like. He's polite and he's nice. But then he also has this kind of creepy face sometimes, this creepy smile, just the way he says things or looks at his son. You think, something's going on there. And I also like Malcolm, how he approaches these scenes, because again you can see the distance, how much he doesn't want to be with this person, but he kind of has to. And you know, by the end of the episode, even though he leaves and says goodbye, you know he has to come back. You just know by the end of the episode, okay, he has now opened up something that he can't stay away from. The only thing that kind of irritated me by the end of the episode is that the whole the whole storyline that's opened up in the first episode doesn't seem to be the storyline for the entire season. I don't want to spoil too much. That's why this is a bit hard to explain. But I thought the issue that they addressed in episode 1 was going to be like a whole thing for the whole season, but it doesn't seem to be. So I'm curious as to see if they're gonna do like a murderer of the week thing, like that they have a different case every week, or if you're gonna have an overarching storyline. I hope they will do that, because I kind of like to see the development in the relationship, but they're probably gonna do that. But for now, I'm definitely excited about the next episode. So if you wondered, if you asked yourself, should I watch this? Is this worth watching? It definitely is, especially if you're like a fan of crime dramas, also the ones that are a bit darker, a bit more psychological. That's it. It's a good show. It's not brilliant. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but the characters are very interesting. The actors are very, very good, and they definitely leave you interested enough that you kind of want to know, okay, how is this whole thing between the son and the father gonna play out in future episodes? So those are my thoughts on the first episode, the pilot episode of Prodigal Son. Have you seen it? What are your thoughts on this episode? Are you curious as to what's going to happen? Put something down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed this little review. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done it already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.